He is Rich Lerner of the Golf Channel, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Rich?
Rich, I'm doing great. Good morning, and thanks for having me on. And it was a week talking about fescue grass and Polana grass and bent grass. There hasn't been this much talk about grass since the referendum in Colorado. But
yes.
After all, we are in the state of Washington.
Yes, that's true.
That's true. Anyway,
I thought
that kind of week.
Yeah, I thought some of them were going to cannonball at some point based on what we were seeing with the way they were handling the I guess, adversity that the greens were throwing up there for some people. Let's start, however, with the ending with Dustin Johnson having a shot to eagle to win, and then just needs a tap-in a way. It is a little bit more than that, maybe, for a birdie to force extra holes that you would still be staying in the Pacific Northwest for. And then we all saw what happened. What were your thoughts on it, Rich?
Well, I mean, you feel badly. Golfers are by themselves. They're exposed, and there's no one there to pass the ball to or to snap the ball to in the final moment. It's just you. And in that case, he was exposed, and it was akin to a field goal kicker in the Super Bowl, 2 seconds left, down 2, and he misses a 40-yarder or a 35-yarder wide right. It's the worst feeling in the world. Now, I will say, as 12-footers go, it was difficult because of the greens, and that first putt got away from him. He had to make a run at it the best as he could. I mean, no one had ever eagled the final hole to win a U.S. Open. And the drive and 5-iron he hit were absolutely outrageous. He is an enormous talent. And then the 4-footer he had, I think, was a 50-50 proposition. The greens were, to be blunt, the greens were horrendous. And that's a shame. And that took away from the U.S. Open.
Rich Lerner of the Golf Channel joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's get into the greens, Rich, because that was the topic of conversation for so many players. Sergio Garcia, and we saw, obviously, Billy Horschel go all in on Fox on live television set. Ian Poulter was Instagramming out photographs, and Stenson called it golfing on broccoli, Rich. So how does something like that happen for the United States Open?
It's complicated. I don't understand agronomics, but the POA jumps in. It happens especially on the West Coast, and they just weren't prepared for it. It got away from them, and it's unfortunate. And for people who say, well, the players should just shut up and play, deal with it, I would offer this. These are the greatest players in the world. If you were headed out to skate in the Olympic gold medal final, would you want an even surface, given that the pressure of the moment is enormous, and that makes it hard enough without having to skate over a divot or a chip in the ice? You'd want a smooth surface. The best players in the world should get that at one of the 3 or 4 best championships in the world. It's not too much to ask in this modern era of agronomics. Give them premium putting surfaces. They didn't get it, and it made a competition of skill come down to a little bit of luck. Now, I get that luck is involved in an outdoor game with capricious weather. You could get it at an Open Championship, at a British Open. You could get sunny and 70 in the morning, and then when you tee off in the afternoon, you could get, 35-mile-an-hour winds and rain.
Rich Lerner, host of the Golf Channel. Oh, sure. Sorry, I thought you were Rich Lerner, Golf Channel host, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Is there any chance, there is talk that the event might return to Chambers Bay, that there is a decade from now an opening on the U.S. Open schedule, and the USGA might just essentially say, we'll get it better next time. Do you think that this could possibly get back to Chambers Bay?
We're hearing that they want to come back to Chambers Bay, maybe somewhere around 2025. I don't think the players are in love with that idea. I mean, to me, if you want to come to the Pacific Northwest, that's fine. But there are, I would assume, other really good venues out here in the Pacific Northwest. Certainly some that say Pacific Northwest with tall evergreens and fir trees, more so than what we saw at Chambers Bay. I will say the views were great. The fans were great. It was a terrible spectating experience. The golf course was so unusual, so many mounds. that it made getting around really difficult. So I would assume they're probably going to come back. I didn't love it as a venue. But I would guess they'll probably come back maybe 10 years down the road.
On the flip side here, Jordan Spieth, I mean, to say he's putting his name in select company is an offense to the word select and company, because he's the youngest U.S. Open champ since Bobby Jones. And if he wins the Open in next month, he would be joining only Ben Hogan to go ahead and win 3 majors, the first 3 majors of the year. It's ridiculous what he's doing right now, Rich. How good is Jordan Spieth in your estimation?
Well, he's great. I mean, 2 majors alone don't make a player a legend, but 2 majors at the age of 21, that's the stuff of legend. There's just no doubt about it. He has this perfect combination of touch and toughness, and he thinks clearly. He's an old head on a young set of shoulders, competitive and emotional balance. And honestly, I can't find many people who thought we would be revisiting the Tiger days. I didn't think 4 majors in a row was possible. And here we are. McIlroy won 2 in a row last summer. Spieth has now won 2 in a row. I think Tiger deserves some credit for what he gave to this succeeding generation. This idea that it is possible to be great young. Why wait? Tiger won the Masters by a dozen at 21, and these guys were watching and they paid attention. And now they have all of the game improvement technology and tools at their disposal when they're 11, 12 years old. They're already working with advanced coaches. They're training, they're dieting, they have sports psychologists. So it's not that surprising that you're seeing young people achieve at the level at which they are. For Spieth to be going to the old course, the home of golf, with a chance to win 3 in a row is extraordinary. And it hasn't happened since 1960. We haven't had a player go to the old course, having won the Masters and the U.S. Open in succession, with a chance to get 3 in a row. And, oh, by the way, that guy's name was Arnold Palmer. And he lost by 1 to Kel Nagel. And there are some similarities. I know it may sound hyperbolic. There are some similarities between Palmer and Spieth. They're both sort of men of the people. And Jordan has this grounded quality that is really appealing. And I also think, Rich, that after 20 to 25 years of athlete scandals, you know, from O.J. Simpson to Pete Rose to Roger Clemens to Lance Armstrong and down the line, I think there is a thirst on the part of the hunger for good characters to go with the good play, the great qualities to go with the great achievements. And I think it's, look, we don't ever really know. That's the one lesson we've learned with athletes.
Sure, right.
But I think there's every indication that Spieth is as good as gold.
So the Royal and Ancient is not going to just switch tracks to give us a U.S. Open-style course just to return the favor here. That's not going to happen over the next couple of weeks, right?
No? They won't. The beauty of the R&A, the Royal and Ancient, and the Open Championship, is that they let Mother Nature dictate the setup. And if it's blowing, it could be tough. And if it's not, guys could shoot 18 under and win.
It's Rich Lerner of the Golf Channel joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Rich, I appreciate the time. Thanks for calling in.
Anytime, Rich.
You bet. You got it. That's Rich Lerner of the Golf Channel here on the Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.